Okay, let's dive right into this. Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to completely demystify wave mechanics. I mean, if you've ever just stared at the ocean or thought about how sound travels through the air and wondered how on Earth scientists actually measure that continuous rolling motion, well, you are in exactly the right place. We're going to break down the language of waves into simple, visual building blocks that just make total sense.
So, to kick things off, we need to look at the core problems scientists faced centuries ago. We all know what a wave looks like, right? But what happens when a wave just keeps repeating? How do you measure something that literally never stands still? They desperately needed a way to describe how often this motion repeats, how long a single cycle takes, and exactly how fast that energy is physically moving through space. To ground this in reality, I want you to picture something super relatable. Imagine you're holding the end of a long, heavy rope. Now imagine moving your arm up and down continuously. Up, down, up, down, up, down. That rhythmic wiggling motion creates a pulse that travels away from you. That right there is our mental anchor for today. Every single time you complete that full up and down motion, you're creating a repeating pattern.
Here's our roadmap for figuring out that rope. First, the repeating wave. Second, frequency and period. Third, understanding wave speed. Fourth, the most important formula. And finally, number 5, we'll test your knowledge.
All right, let's jump straight into part 1, the repeating wave.
When you flick that rope up, you create a high point, which we call a crest. And when you snap it down, you create a low point, called a trough. Together, one crest and one trough form exactly one complete wave. We call this a cycle. This is absolutely our fundamental unit of measurement. Everything we calculate today is really just counting these cycles.
Moving right along to part 2, frequency and period.
First up is frequency, which we write as a lowercase f. Frequency is simply the number of complete waves, those crest and trough cycles we just talked about, produced in exactly 1 second. It's measured in a unit called hertz. I kind of like to think of frequency as a measure of how busy the wave is. If 5 complete waves are produced every single second, the frequency is 5 hertz. A higher frequency just means a much busier rope, packing more waves into every passing second. Now, contrast that with period, represented by a capital T. While frequency looks at how many waves cram into 1 second, period totally flips the lens. Period focuses specifically on the precise time it takes to complete just a single cycle. And since it's measuring time, our unit here is simply seconds. So if one wave takes half a second to be produced, the period is just 0.5 seconds. And this brilliantly illustrates the strict rule of opposites governing wave mechanics. Think about it. If waves occur really often, your frequency is high, which means the time it takes for just one wave, the period, has to be super small. On the flip side, if waves occur slowly, your frequency is low, and the period is going to be large. They are mathematical opposites, completely inversely related to one another. Because they're exact opposites, we can use a really simple formula. Frequency equals 1 divided by the period. Let's walk through a quick example. Say we know our period is 0.2 seconds. We simply take our formula, f equals 1 over t, and substitute 0.2 in for t, giving us 1 divided by 0.2. Do that quick division, and boom, we get 5 hertz. That means if one wave takes 0.2 seconds to form, you're naturally going to see 5 of those waves perfectly complete their cycle in exactly 1 second. Let's move to part 3 and see how this all builds, understanding wave speed. Think back to our rope again. When you create a wave, that pulse actually physically travels away from you down the length of the rope. Wave speed, represented by a lowercase v, tells us exactly how fast that wave is moving. The beautiful thing about physics is that speed is always just distance divided by time. So if your wave pulse travels 20 meters down the rope in 4 seconds, you just divide 20 by 4, which gives you a wave speed of 5 meters per second. Which brings us to part 4, the most important formula. All right, here it is. V equals F times lambda. Scientists figured out that wave speed depends entirely on its frequency and its wavelength. This single equation is literally one of the most important formulas scientists ever discovered for wave mechanics. It links motion, time, and physical space, all wrapped up in 3 little symbols. So the crucial point here is making sure we completely understand every single symbol. V is our wave speed, measured in meters per second. F is our frequency, the busyness of the wave, measured in hertz. And that funny-looking upside-down Y is the Greek letter lambda, which stands for wavelength, the actual physical distance of one complete wave cycle, measured in meters. Speed equals frequency times wavelength.
Let's actually put this master formula to the test. Let's say we have a wave speed of 12 meters per second and a frequency of 4 hertz, and we need to find the wavelength. We can easily rearrange our master formula. If v equals f times lambda, then lambda has to equal v divided by f. We substitute our knowns to get 12 divided by 4.
And we get a highly satisfying calculation of exactly 3 meters. A wave traveling at 12 meters per second, repeating 4 times every second, absolutely must have a physical length of 3 meters per cycle. It all just locks together perfectly. Now, what's really interesting here is this vital core concept. Imagine a seesaw. What happens if the wave speed is locked in and remains completely constant? Well, if the speed stays the same, frequency and wavelength have to balance each other out. If the frequency increases, meaning the wave gets busier, the wavelength absolutely must decrease to compensate. They are totally inversely related when the speed is constant.
All right, let's wrap things up with part 5. Test your knowledge.
Before we get to the questions, here is your ultimate cheat sheet. Take a quick mental snapshot of this summary. We've got our 4 main quantities: frequency with its f and hertz, period with its t and seconds, wavelength with its lambda and meters, and wave speed with its v and meters per second. These are your absolute essentials.
And here are 5 practice questions pulled directly from our source material. I highly encourage you to hit pause on the explainer right here, grab a piece of paper, and try to calculate your own answers using that rule of opposites and our master formula. Like, can you find the frequency if the period is 0.25 seconds? Can you calculate speed from an 8 hertz frequency and a 2 meter wavelength? You have all the right formulas now to solve every single one of these.
And finally, before we go, I want to leave you with this fantastic conceptual cliffhanger. No math required for this one, just pure logic based on what we've covered today. If the wave speed remains completely constant and the frequency suddenly doubles, what exactly must happen to the wavelength? Think back to that inverse seesaw relationship we talked about. Keep that thought in your mind, because in our next explainer, we are going to build on this exact mystery as we explore longitudinal waves and the fascinating world of sound. Keep learning, and I'll see you in the next one.